We all know that our economy has left a great number of American workers behind, that it does not prioritize them, that it is there to serve corporate greed. But the state of our pay is actually even worse than you might think, even worse than those who are shedding light on it might think. So let's bring up this chart, because I came across this today, and it shows that right now, half of all American workers make less than $20 an hour. Now, if that's your headline, that should be scary. Like theoretically, half of the entire country is making less than $20 an hour. I mean, punch into any rent calculator where that lets you live in America, and that's stark. Half of America, $20 per hour. So that's something. But if we were in a just America, in a just economy, that would mean something far darker. Let's bring up this next chart. And what you're gonna see there is the real value of the minimum wage versus productivity. So you have productivity shooting up over literally the past 60 plus years, and yet the actual value of your dollar, if you're on the minimum wage, is not going up. In fact, in many years, it's going down when you should be making 2 or 3 times as much by then. Let's bring up this next chart. You're gonna see there what the minimum wage should be. If it just kept pace with other wages, it would be at $11.35, significantly higher than it is now. And if it actually kept pace with productivity, which means if people were being paid for what they were producing, back in 2016, it would have been worth $18, almost $19. Some estimates put it even higher, which means that the story, the headline should not be that half of all Americans are making less than $20 an hour. It's that half of our goddamn country is on a just minimum wage. If it simply had kept pace with inflation, now not considering anything else, the fact that theoretically we should be doing better over time, not just keeping pace, half of our country is on a just minimum wage. Wow. That's crazy.
So half our country is making what teenagers at McDonald's should be making. I hate
should
the
be making, yes.
Keep going with, because there's lots of jobs at a minimum wage that isn't just the McDonald's one, and lots of people doing them that are not 15, 16-year-olds that are just getting
people
out
with
into the
15, 16-year-olds.
Absolutely. So I saw a friend of mine. I think there was an Instagram post where she discovered, this is just LA, the median rate of rent in Los Angeles. It's a huge, huge city. Is over $11,000 a month for rent, and we're talking, of course, month, because of the average of how many costs of living in this city. If you drive through the nice parts of town, you're like, oh, people may rent this. Or if you go to the beach, and you're like, oh, I wonder how much that place for rent is that where this beach house is. If you look at the average, so there's so many that are lower, but then so many that are so high. The median is $11,000 a month for rent.
Yeah.
So think about the people who, of course, everyone's not living in, but that's just the middle. So how much you have to make to support that? As plenty of adults, how do you pull that off? You don't have your 5, 6-year-olds work. Be like, well, you're contributing to the house. It's a place to be in where you have nowhere to turn.
Yeah.
And I understand, yes, again, this is LA, one of the most expensive cities in the world. I understand that, but the amount that people get paid, it's also comparable. I mean, you see the cost of living in other cities, it's probably just the same feel for how much you have coming in, for how much you have to actually put out. That's just for rent. We're talking about food later, and then after that, health, shoes, clothes. I mean, this stuff isn't cheap. I go to cheap places to buy stuff for my kid. That shit is not cheap.
Yeah, it's still not cheap. Yeah, that's totally true. Can we go back to graphic 18, that first chart? Because there's something else here that I thought is a little bit scary. So you're seeing there, I know that you can screenshot this if you want. You're seeing the percentage of the population that makes at least that much money. As you go from left to right, you make more money. And so, I mean, once you get into $40 an hour, you're at like 3% of the population. Maybe 4 or 5% of the population makes more than that. $40 an hour, I mean, we're not talking about own your own island wages at that point. We're talking about adjusted for inflation, a good, solid, hardworking, full-time job back, 40, 50 years. And so, like in this, we're focusing on the fact that those who don't make a ton of money are being left behind, but we're all getting left behind. And when those at the bottom are making so little, it makes it easier for those who set these wages to justify paying people in the so-called middle class even less as well. I mean, 3 or 4% of the population is making more than theoretically the vast majority. I mean, think about the productivity gains. Think about
absolutely
the modernization, the information economy, computers, robots, all of that. We can produce so much more than we used to. And we're effectively, at best, arguably treading water with the 1950s. That is insane.
It's one of those things when it comes to productivity, and the fact that productivity is still up that rate, based comparable to how badly we pay employees in this country, it actually is somehow still works out because there's a lot of studies, and I can't quote them because I remember talking about it in high school and college, about how if you just treat your workers in a certain way, the productivity you get back from them is so exponential. They're excited to come to work. They sleep well. They don't have migraines and stress about how they're going to eat their next meal. They eat breakfast. They come to work, and you actually get good productivity out of them, and you benefit from it. It's crazy how the concept of treating people like humans works for you instead of treating them like garbage, which apparently still works because you can still get productivity to go as where it is now. And we call American workers a lot of times, oh, we're just lazy, you don't do that. How dare you make $7 an hour, you lazy bum. And then that forced people to think they have to do even more for nothing.
We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks. You power this show. Together, we built something amazing. We've broken stories like the Donna Brazil story the mainstream media wouldn't break. We built the studio, we built this network. It's now #1, all thanks to you guys. Let's come build it even bigger and stronger. TYTnetwork.com/join.